The only time you really need a mortgage is if you don't have all the money for the house.
What happens if someone can't pay their mortgage?
It's your house and you have the ability to lease it out after a certain period of time. How much money a person has going out and how much they have coming in. There's people who made $200,000 a year that couldn't purchase a home. If I can't help them, I kind of take it personal because I feel like everyone should have the opportunity to own a home. So in this video today, I am going to be interviewed by my two sons, Mason, who is 14, and Aaron, who is 10. They're going to ask me questions pertaining to my job, home ownership, and questions from a 14-year-old and a 10-year-old. You're going to want to stay to the end of this video because you'll learn about a mortgage so easy that a fifth grader could understand it. How you doing, Aaron?
Good.
So what questions do you have for me today?
About a few questions. Number one is, what is a mortgage and why do you need one to buy a house?
So a mortgage, the only time you really need a mortgage is if you don't have all the money for the house. What the mortgage does, it helps. So like for instance, my company provides a mortgage to people who are looking to purchase homes. They have, you know how when we go buy a video game and I ask you how much you got to put on it?
Yes.
All right. So they bring X amount of dollars. So let's take the same example for a video game. They have to bring $50 to the table for the video game, and then we provide the other $400. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Got you. So the mortgage is a note saying, I promise to repay the $400 that you gave to me in monthly payments over the course of 30 years. That's what a mortgage is.
All right. Can anyone buy a house or do you have to be grown up to buy one?
You need to be at least 18 years old in most states to purchase a home. Some states is 21. So yes, you do have to be an adult to purchase a home.
All right, next question is, what does your job look like in one day?
So my job in one day looks like after I get you off to school and Mason goes to school, I check emails, I check text messages, I check voice messages, and then I prioritize calling people back and answering their questions. I also get a bunch of phone calls, text messages, and emails during the day. So I spend a lot of time communicating with people to see how I can help them purchase a home or answer questions about their current home purchase.
All right. Next question is, do you help people find a house or just help them pay for them?
So a realtor helps people find the actual home. I help people find out how much home they can afford and how much their monthly payment is going to be.
All right. What happens if someone can't pay their mortgages?
Ooh, that's a good question. So if a person doesn't have the ability to pay for their mortgage any longer, we typically take it back and it's something called foreclosure. Simple rule: when you purchase a home, you pay, you stay. You don't, you won't.
So is it kind of like rent?
That's a great question. So no, a mortgage is not like rent. They're both monthly payments for housing. So some people call it rent, some call it a lease payment. That means you don't have any ownership in that home. So if what you do is, let's say you own a home, right? And you have something called a tenant. The tenant pays you $800 a month to stay in that property. That's rent or a lease payment. You actually have the mortgage on it, and let's say your mortgage is $500. Then that $800 that person pays to you pays for your mortgage, and you have an additional $300 left over. That's what rent is. So you're the owner in this case, and that person paying you rent is the tenant. So they pay a lease. You get me so far?
Yeah.
All right, cool. The mortgage is where I just described it. You own the home, and you're paying the mortgage of $500, so you have ownership in it, meaning it's your house and you have the ability to lease it out after a certain period of time, or you can live in it. So like, we live in our house, we don't rent, so we own it. Every month, Mom and I pay a mortgage payment for us to stay in. Our properties in Alabama that we visit, you know those properties?
Yeah.
Those people are tenants. They pay rent, which essentially pays for our mortgage.
All right. How does the banks decide if someone can buy a house or not?
We look at how much money a person has going out on a monthly basis and how much they have coming in. That determines if they have the ability to purchase a home.
How much do you need to like buy an actual house though? What are the numbers that are like in between it?
I'll say I've had people who have purchased homes that made $35,000 a year. And then there's people who made $200,000 a year that couldn't purchase a home. So you remember that example I said, we take a look at how much a person has coming in on a monthly basis and how much they have going out. You remember that example?
Yeah.
That's how we determine that's one way how we determine if a person can qualify for a home. Another way is where they have to have the money. They have to have some money for down payment and closing costs. So we have to see how much money they have. So that's another factor. So they have to have some money in the bank, as well as credit. Now, we have to have a specific credit score for a person to be able to qualify. So they have to have a specific credit score, at least a minimum credit score. They have to have a certain amount of debt that they can't go over. So that's they can't have a ton of bills and not be able to show that they can make a payment. And then we see how much money they have in the bank or access to money. So we can see if those three things will allow for them to become a homeowner.
All right. Next question. Have you ever helped someone buy a house for the first time?
Yes. So I work with a lot of first-time home buyers. I enjoy walking them through the process of home ownership and helping them achieve a goal that they weren't sure they would be able to achieve.
What's the coolest part of your job?
Coolest part of my job is help people achieve the goal of home ownership.
All right. Did you always think you wanted this job as a kid?
No. When I was a kid, I didn't even know what a loan officer was. I kind of stumbled into this job when we moved here to Georgia. So when we were looking to move to Georgia, we talked to a loan officer. He asked me if I ever considered being a loan officer. I said yes. And once I got you guys settled in school and Mom got settled with her job, I went and took a 20-hour class. I passed the class, passed the test, and I became a loan officer. So no, I had no inkling of even being a loan officer or having anything to do with real estate other than owning a home.
So you have to take a 20-hour class, pass the test to become a loan officer.
Yes, you do.
All right. Well, what was the job you wanted as a kid?
I wanted to be a baseball player.
Baseball player.
Professional baseball player.
What should kids learn now if they want to be good with money when they grow up?
I'm going to ask you that question. What do we tell you to do with your money?
Save it.
Right. And what else?
Don't spend it all in one place.
Correct. So if you're a kid and you're looking to become a homeowner, you want to learn how to save money and how to budget money. Those would be two skills that can take you a long ways as an adult, whether you become a homeowner or even a renter. Like budgeting money and saving money are dying skills.
All right. What about investing?
Investing in what?
Just anything.
I think investing is a great opportunity for you to build for your future. So we invest in real estate. all things real estate. We have rental properties. We own our home. So I think it's great if you can find something to invest in.
All right. Those are all my questions now.
All right, man.
First question. What's the hardest part of your job?
One of the hardest things about my job is telling someone that they don't qualify. Right? I pride myself on helping people become homeowners, and if I can't help them, I kind of take it personal because I feel like everyone should have the opportunity to own a home.
You work more with people or with numbers?
I work with both. I work with people on their numbers. So if you're looking to buy a house, a realtor is going to show you the house. So that person you're going to have more interactions with the person going from house to house to house. My part is the numbers. How much can Mason afford in terms of purchasing a home based off the income he has? And so I do work more with numbers, but I work with the numbers for the person.
What are the most common mistakes people make when getting a mortgage?
One of the most common mistakes that people make when getting a mortgage is trying to do it on their own, right? I always tell people they should seek professional help from a mortgage lender first so they can see what they qualify for. Also, another common mistake is people thinking they need 20% as a down payment and a 700 credit score. Those are huge things that people think they need that could be further from the truth.
How long does it usually take to get approved for a mortgage?
So if I was to pull your credit today and you provided me with all of your documents that I request in the email, anywhere from, depending on the part of the year, anywhere from 48 to 72 hours. That's to get a pre-approval to see if you can qualify or don't qualify.
Are there things teens like me can do now to prepare for a house for me one day?
Yeah, get a job. Now, if you start working now and saving money, that will help you learn how to save and budget for homeownership.
Do you think owning a house is better than renting? If so, why?
Yes. In most cases, I think that owning a home is far greater than renting. Purchasing a home is a form of investing. So you're investing in a home. I think that if the situation is right and it makes sense, yes, you should own a home. I'm not against renting, but I think you should consider home ownership before renting.
What are some things you wish you knew when you were 14?
I wish I knew more about real estate. When I say I wish I knew more about real estate, I wish I knew about the inner workings of rentals, how they worked, and what it took to become a real estate professional. Because if I had to be truthful, I probably would have became a realtor before I went to college.
What are some skills or habits that help you succeed in your career?
Being able to relate to people, with people. I've always been good with numbers. And the other thing is key. I'm a homeowner and I'm an investor. So I know how to guide people through the process. So I've obtained a mortgage personally myself. I've owned a home and maintained a home with my wife, your mom, as well as investing in property so I can give people firsthand experience instead of what I've heard or seen online.
That was the final question. Thank you for talking.
Cool. Thank you for staying till the end. As I stated in the beginning of the video, I think that you got some pertinent information from a 5th grader and a 9th grader on how to position your kids to become homeowners as well as yourself. If you have any questions pertaining to home ownership or would like to schedule a consultation, the link will be below, as well as to join my Facebook group and my monthly newsletter. I'm Kevin Jefferson, the People's Lender. Have a great day.